dear students, welcome to Akshat International School online classes. In this lecture, we will continue with the chapter number 2, acids, bases and salts. Till the previous lecture, we had done with the properties of bases, both physical and chemical. And today, we will start off with the important topic on which usually CBSE asks a question, and that is pH. pH is also known as potence of hydrogen, and we also call it as power of hydrogen. It is used to determine or to find out whether a substance, a chemical, is acidic or basic in nature. So pH scale is the scale which measures whether a substance is acidic or basic. We know that the substances which release H plus ions, which when dissolved in water are acids, and those substances which when dissolved in water release hydroxide ion, that is OH minus ions, are basic in nature. So when we talk about the pH, there is a scale which is the pH scale. This pH scale measures and it tells that whether the given substance or whether a specified substance is acidic or basic in nature. We have seen that according to the Arrhenius concept, those substances which when dissolved in water release H plus ions or proton are acidic in nature, whereas those substances which release an OH minus ions are bases according to Arrhenius. The unique quality of this pH scale is it runs only from 0 to 14 and the center point is 7. On the left hand side of this 7, we have the substances which are acidic, and on the right hand side, that is still 14, we have basic, that is here we'll have acids and here we'll have the bases. So suppose if I want to measure this, how would I use this pH scale? There are two possible methods. One is by using a liquid solution, that is the universal indicator, or which is the pH indicator, or you can try this, that is a pH paper. You can see that on this pH paper we have different markations. This is up till 11 only, but it actually runs till 14. So here you can see that this is 1, 2, 3 and 4. There are the shades of red and orange, and the substances which are below 5, they are basically greenish or bluish in color. So whenever we want to determine the color of whether the substance is acidic or basic, we'll try it practically. So to show you a practical example, here I have few colorless or white translucent solutions with me. You all can see that there are no specific colors. The thing that this whitish cloudish precipitate is just because the substance remains undissolved. So now if I want to test these solutions, how can I just determine that whether they are acidic, basic or they are neutral? So I can use two things. I can use my pH paper or my litmus indicator or the universal indicator. This pH paper also changes its color as the litmus paper does. See, this is orangish or yellowish in color. When I put this litmus paper into this solution, you can see that it has changed its color to a greenish tinge. Now to observe this, we can just see which number is indicated on this scale. Suppose it matches with the number 7 or 6. So this substance, if it lies to a scale that is above 7, that is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 or 30, it would be a base. Okay, so when I dip this, you can now see the variation in the color. It has turned almost blue in color. So it is the most darkest color of the scale. So it matches up till 11. So this substance goes on the right hand side. Hence we can say that this substance is basic in nature, or it is a base. Same thing we can do for another substance also, as all of them are colorless. I am taking another strip with me and now I am again dipping it into another solution. You can see that this has turned purple in color. Again we match up with this list and we try to find out which substance is it. Is it an acid or a base? It has again gone up to the shades of 10 and 11. So this would also be basic in nature. Now we'll try it with another substance. Suppose I have this one. You can see that when the litmus paper gets dipped in it, there is no certain change. That is, when we talk about the neutral solutions, they do not change the color of either the pH paper or the universal indicator. We can also see it by using this litmus solution. Now suppose I pour this litmus solution into this unknown solution to be tested as acid or base. You can see that now its color has changed to a pinkish red shade. Now we can again use this pH scale and we can identify the color. It is in the shade of 3, 4 or 1. Okay, so it has gone up to which side? Now it is going to this side of 7. That is, it is going to be acidic in nature. We can try for one more substance. Suppose this is the another unknown substance and we have to test whether it is an acid or base. We can do both the things. We can try out with a pH paper or we can try out with the pH or universal indicator solution. Now when I put this solution into it, it has changed its color to purple. Okay, so now you can see that this is purple in color, and to examine this we again use this pH strip. It has gone up to the shades of 11. Okay, so now this shows that the substance which were used was again basic in nature. You can just see the variation in color of these two. This is in the shades of red and this is in the shades of purple. Okay, so now one question arises. Why to study this pH? What is the use of this pH? So now one important question of class 10th CBSE board examinations, and that is the importance of pH in daily life. Where do we use this pH in our daily life? One very common household example you can see is the advertisements of ENO. Whenever you have a burning sensation in your stomach, that is the day when you overeat or you consume too much of oily food, you feel like a burning sensation is coming up into your stomach. And the elderly people of your house suggest you to have ENO, pudin hara, or soda, or sodium bicarbonate, or meetha soda, etc. Okay, so what is this? Acidity is arising and you need to neutralize that acid. So the neutralization reaction has already taught us that to neutralize an acid you need a base, and that ENO, that particular soda whichever you are consuming, is nothing else but it is a base in nature. So when you consume that ENO or that pudin hara or something household solutions like meetha soda and all, they neutralize the acid, that is, they reduce the content of that HCl produced in the stomach and we feel relaxed. So one thing is the use of pH in digestive system, that is to cure the acidity. One very common example of that particular substance used to neutralize acidity is milk of magnesia. The second example is the tooth enamel. You must have seen that when we consume too much of tea or sugar substances or too much of cold drinks, the enamel of the teeth starts turning yellowish. Okay, so that is increasing the acidic content in your mouth. The pH of mouth is slightly on an acidic or a basic medium. But when the consumption of this sugar substance increases, the pH of the mouth disbalances. And that leads to the degradation or the yellowing of the teeth enamel. So the second one is the use of pH in tooth decay. If we use too much of sugar substances or we drink too much of cold drinks, the enamel degrades and the tooth degrades. The third example is related to the welfare of animals. You must have seen that whenever the ant bites you, you have a burning sensation on your skin and it leaves an inflammation on the skin wherever it bites. That is, when the ant or the bee bites you, it usually releases formic acid in our body. And we usually apply toothpaste or soda or we rub it with soap usually. That is done in order to neutralize the acidic content which is sent in the body. Whenever you try to disturb those ants in their work, they just try and bite you off. So the third importance of pH is in the animal warfare. Similarly, the leaves of the nettle plants, whenever you touch them, they also have stings on that. They have an acidic content in them and they release it in your skin and you again have those burning sensations. So the importance of pH in our daily life is basically three we have seen. One is in the digestive system, second is in the tooth decay, and third is in the chemical warfare or in the animal warfare. The last one is in the agricultural basis. Suppose the soil is too much acidic or too much basic, we cannot grow our crops in those soil. So in order to maintain the fertility of soil also, we test it for pH and accordingly we add fertilizers in that kind of soil. So the fourth use is in agriculture. Whether the soil is acidic or basic, it is treated according to that particular thing. If the soil is too much of basic, we use substances which make it neutral by adding acidic compounds, or if it is too much of acidic, we use substances which would make it a more of basic. So there are four importances of pH and you have to learn them all because it is one of the favorite questions of CBSE. So it can be in a full-fledged 3-mark question or it can be a single thing which can be used. So now we start off with the last part of our chapter, that is the salts. Salts are formed when either acids react with base or a metal reacts with a non-metal. Not only NaCl but sodium bicarbonate, sodium carbonate, calcium chloride, all these kinds of substances are in the category of salts. So the salts which we have to deal with in this chapter are, the first one is sodium carbonate, then bleaching powder. And you must remember one very important thing, that it can give you 3 mark or 2 mark or an objective type of question also. So this is a very important topic because it can be asked in 3 marks or 2 marks or the objective. How? We'll just start off. We will be starting off with the first one, which you can see just now around you, that is the POP. So the first one which we are starting is POP. It is plaster of Paris. Okay, so you have to remember its full name, that is POP or the plaster of Paris. Now the second thing which you have to learn and remember is its formula and chemical name. Its formula is CaSO4 dot half H2O, or its chemical name is calcium sulfate. Half is known as hemihydrate. So 3 important things to remember in this very thing. They are the full form of POP, plaster of Paris. Its formula CaSO4 dot half H2O. Its chemical name calcium sulfate hemihydrate. Now we will see how is this POP is prepared. So now we will see the method of preparation of this plaster of Paris. We can write it as plaster of Paris, that is POP. Now there is a compound which is called as gypsum. When we heat this gypsum, it loses its water of crystallization. Remember this term, water of crystallization, because again this thing is important. Water of crystallization. So when we heat this gypsum, it loses its water of crystallization and forms POP. So let's see the equation and then we will come on to the thing, that is water of crystallization. Gypsum is CaSO4 dot 2H2O. So its name is calcium sulfate. This is calcium sulfate, this is 2 calcium sulfate dihydrate. When we heat this, it loses its water of crystallization and it forms CaSO4 dot half H2O. That is, it forms calcium sulfate hemihydrate. So this is an important reaction for us because we can be asked about the method of preparation of plaster of Paris. So it is important to know that it is formed from gypsum. When gypsum is heated, it forms calcium sulfate hemihydrate, that is our plaster of Paris. Okay, so now the next thing which is that why are we studying this POP? It is because this POP is used in our daily life. So this salt is basically of a good use in our daily life. You can see that the ceilings, that is the false they are also made of this POP, that is the plaster of Paris. So the second use is, it is used for making decorative items. And the third and one of the most important uses is, whenever someone has a fracture or the bones crack or delocalized bones, they usually go to the orthopedics. They apply a plaster, and to fix that plaster they apply a paint which is of white color, they apply a chemical which is of white color. That chemical is plaster of Paris, and it is used for setting the break or broken bones, and hence it is of medical importance also. So this POP is used for setting of the fractured bones also. So three important uses of POP, plaster of Paris or calcium sulfate hemihydrate are: number one, it is used for preparing the false ceiling. Ceiling is the work which you can see on the top of your head, or that is on the roof. Second one is, it is used for making toys, statues and decorative items. And the third one is, it is used for setting fractured bones. Now if I talk about the chemical property, we have seen that when we heat gypsum, it forms POP, and we have seen that when the plaster has been applied, when that white paste is applied on the plaster, it becomes hard after some time. How is that possible? So there is a chemical change which goes on in that. When CaSO4 dot half H2O, that is the POP, when we add water into this, that is when we add H2O into it, it forms CaSO4 dot 2H2O, that is now it forms gypsum. So this is interconvertible. When you heat gypsum, POP is formed, and when you add water into this POP, that is calcium sulfate hemihydrate, you get a hard massy substance which is gypsum, and hence it is very important in medical industry, or it is very important in orthopedics and all. So we have seen the first salt which we will have in our syllabus, that is plaster of Paris. Now in the next class we'll talk about the water of crystallization and the remaining salts. So that's all for this lecture. Good day everyone. Stay home.